You're not cold by that window, are you?
Have to be comfortable. Yeah, it's a little breeze. If we could shut that window.
Shut the window. Can you even open office windows?
Sure you can.
I don't know. Not in my office.
No, actually not in ours either.
I wish.
And that, the office.
Yep.
The studio.
Yes.
Which has, I don't know how many years of pretty smelly dudes.
Yeah, and
no airflow.
The incapability over the years to understand how the airflow works.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you're right.
It hasn't changed.
Thought about that.
It hasn't changed at all. I am wearing shorts though today, which
why?
Is that's a conversation starter. I was walking the dog. No, that's not why. But it does turn out to be one. A dog walk now takes an hour and a half because every single person that you walk by has got to be in shorts.
Yeah.
The hell are you doing that for?
Well, you made your bed.
I run hot. What can I say?
Have you always, like you were a kid, rocking t-shirt and shorts out in the -10, -15?
Here's where my argument falls apart because I'm usually shorts on the bottom, but like hoodie, jacket, toque.
Fully stacked
up top. But
so what's going on?
Busy week. Busy week.
Did you see any shows last week?
No, actually, I think the last show I got to was Sky Wallace on
right.
That was about a week and a half ago.
Which I felt very bad for you. Because you were given information that the show was starting quite late.
Yes.
You drove down to Calgary, which is about an hour and a half from here.
So I felt like I had time. And this is where, you do question yourself and you're like, I think I might have a problem. Because we had co-hosted and emceed Sawback Brewing's birthday bash that day. And
a lot of fun.
And I think wrapped that up somewhere around 9. And then I was under the understanding that the show was going to start at 11:30. So I'm like, I got time to Calgary. And then I'm like, am I going to make the hour and a half drive to Calgary at 10 o'clock at night?
That's what I was thinking. I know. It was just dedication.
I wanted to see that show.
And you got there halfway through?
Maybe just a little over on the other side.
What time did you get home?
I got about an hour. Let's see. She would have finished like at 12:15, kind of hung around and chatted a little bit afterwards, left Calgary maybe by 1. So home 2:30.
God damn. 2:33. God damn. But it was good. It was worth it.
Worth every second of it. I would do it again.
That's sweet.
Right now if I could.
That was at Dickens?
At Dickens. My first time there.
Oh, first time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a long time. But that's a decent venue.
Do you know the story about the gremlins that are the zombie babies hidden everywhere in that building?
No.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't. There's got to be a story behind it.
Gremlin zombie babies.
But I was, watching the show, and then I just kind of looked up, and like there's like some trusses or whatever. There's a little break in the ceiling, and there's like a zombie baby.
Just staring down at you?
Staring down.
Oh, that's
kind of
cool.
In there. And then I think I noticed one kind of behind the stage off to the side as well. So I got to investigate that a little bit more.
Interesting. Well, it calls for a return visit to Dickens.
Every venue needs a something, right?
That's true. That is absolutely true. And in fact, our venue has more than something as of yesterday.
It's all
Holy
Christmas
hell.
threw up all over the place.
Winterlust, is that what it's called?
Winterlust,
yeah.
Did you go in and help set up?
No, I didn't. I didn't get the call, but apparently producer Ryley was there for, 10 hours?
Oh, I was going to say that seems like a short amount of time. That went up pretty quick then.
I think producer Ryan was there for quite a bit longer.
Yeah. So it quite literally, Christmas throws up all over the venue.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
Violently. It's lights, it's Christmas trees. And it's going to be really fun to see, because we've got the Bluestones in this week, tomorrow night.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, the Bluestones, Low Hum, Broken Love show will be done.
And then the Sheepdogs,
Boy Golden,
and then the Headstones, and then Matthew Good.
Yeah.
All playing under the Christmas decor.
Which I remember we had a band do their farewell show there last year. And I don't think they were too into the festive. They didn't have the festive spirit.
They didn't like
yet.
the festiveness of it?
No, I think I don't know if it messed with their vibe at all, but there's definitely a comment about Christmas.
Honestly, pick a Headstones show with Christmas all over it. That could be fun.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. I don't think that's the first thing you think of when you think the Headstones.
You've seen them a lot, right?
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. Last time would have been -30.
I think the last
outside at the Red Deer.
Oh, there was the one here in Red Deer, yeah. But I think I've seen them since.
Oh, true.
Then maybe they played at Starlight, or maybe the Starlight show was before. I can't. They
Who knows?
Tend to muffle together.
Who knows?
I think we probably do need to shout out all our newfound fans, all our newfound viewers that we gathered over the last week or so.
Yeah, it was a wild episode drop. Something we've never seen before on the road the stage. What was the number in the first 24 hours? It was around 7, right? I think it
Give
was
or
around
take.
7.
It's got to be pretty close to that. Yeah, that is a rabid fan base.
Yeah, and I mean, we've both gone through the comments. The comments are interesting. Some people concerned with band dynamics.
Yes.
People who didn't get the joke about goat waffles.
Now, let's say that is a smaller percentage of, because they're
Very vocal.
Very vocal, yes, definitely, especially on the band dynamic end of things. Which I kind of almost wish I had known before we went into that, but also at the same time,
I mean,
what do you do about it?
But at the same time, I think that there's a lot of people who get really attached to a band
Yes.
and assume that they know more than maybe what's actually happening, right?
Yeah. Did you get that at all as we were chatting with them, that one was maybe quieter than?
No, I didn't really notice it. I mean,
I don't think it was on purpose.
maybe I did notice it, but here's the thing. I don't think I care.
Or
If you don't want to speak too much and you've got your 2 sisters also speaking, then that's cool.
that's cool.
Enjoy your waffle, and hopefully you have a good time on the show, which I think they did.
How many people talk to you about, like, you guys didn't eat the waffles? How come nobody ate the waffles?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't. I saw someone call it the waffles with the warning, right?
Waffles with the warning.
Yeah. It's funny because and Ryley and I are talking about it, and yeah, we of course initially or immediately I jumped to the comments about the band dynamics or the goat waffles. But the other comments were, "This is the best interview ever."
Yes, it
I'm
is.
like, oh shit, okay,
Yep.
thanks, really appreciate it.
We just got to try to do that every single time.
Wow.
And we hadn't done it
This
in
is the
79 episodes.
This is the best interview the warning's done, and it's the best interview ever. So that was nice. That was validating.
I'll take it. Yeah, like I say, I'm applying every comment, every positive comment that came in on that episode applies to all the previous 78 episodes.
Well, I mean, I replied to a couple of those comments saying, well, thank you. And some people got in depth about why they thought it was a great episode. And all of those are points that we have strived to meet. Like, that's the goal of this podcast, was to have these types of
I think
conversations.
the biggest one said it was like a casual conversation between
100%.
friends, which is definitely the goal.
And it's a good moment for reflection as well, as I think that we've been pretty successful at that. I can only think of a couple times where it's been more like that traditional, like, Q&A.
Yeah.
Here's my short answer, get on with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, for the most part,
been
it's
very
all
lucky.
very lucky, very conversational.
So it was a pleasure. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I really, there's still part of it I'm still trying to process. I mean, it's wild. It's wild. It's very impressive. It's just impressive that they've done so much in such a short period of time, right?
Yeah. And continue watching the road trip continue out east and everything that they're posting. Of course, with the standstills going at it as well, it's pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, very, very cool. You didn't get to see that show,
I
right?
did not get to this one. I have seen, other than the warning, I have seen I've seen 3 Days Grace. I've obviously seen the standstills.
Yeah, and some crossover on stage too with the headliner, which is pretty sweet.
And not,
I mean, they're very
once.
talented. The
Again,
one's very talented.
You talk about Lizzie Hale coming out to give a guitar. You talk about 3 Days Grace having, the confidence to bring Danny out and
very, very cool. So yeah, we got a whole whackload of views on the Communal Creative Studios YouTube channel, which if you're listening to this and have not subscribed to the channel, I'd strongly encourage you to do so.
I pulled a Patrick at a party I was at on Saturday.
No way.
Yeah. Somehow the podcast kind of came up.
Okay.
And somebody was like, "Oh, I didn't know you." Oh, well, head to YouTube, and I got her to go to YouTube right away. Subscribe. Yes.
For real.
I'm like, Patrick would be so proud.
Was this by any chance a work Christmas party?
It was not a work Christmas party. No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I was going to say most of your coworkers should know by now, right?
Of course they know and subscribe and talk about it every day.
Yeah. Have you not done that tactic in the office? Just walk around. Give me your phone.
Damn it! Now I just thought that was implied, but I guess I have to.
Yeah, you might have to. You'd be
More
surprised.
forceful with it.
We had friends from out of town staying with us. My partner down in Calgary for a few weeks ago, and we were on YouTube, and him and I have talked about the podcast lots over the last couple of years, but we're on YouTube, and I don't remember. Oh, I wanted to show him the video Ryley made for Pucker Up, the Red Deer hardcore band, a couple months ago, and as I started searching Communal Creative Studios, like, shit, am I going to search this and find out he's not subscribed?
Oh.
It was like a little moment where I was like, oh, shit, am I going to have to, know,
I was gonna say, what do you do? What's
tell
the
him
plan?
like,
What's the
come
plan?
on, man. But he was subscribed,
Okay,
so
good. I'm sure that's the way it is. If I went around the workplace right now, they're all subscribed. I'm sure of it.
yeah. Well, you can go check that out later today, I assume. Well, we had an interview booked for today, and the thing about this interview is that this will be the third attempt.
I was just gonna say this one's been a long time in the making.
We had to bail on the first chance in the summer. I was sick that week.
Right.
That was the Yukon Blonde show, I think.
Correct.
And then we had a scheduling issue a few weeks ago, and yeah.
When he was in town again
Yeah.
for a show, yeah.
And yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure if he's hopping on, but my rule.
This is
What do I do with my rule now? Because I have a rule. I don't bug you more than 3 times, and this is the third time. Oh,
It's your 3-strike rule?
yeah, it's the 3-strike rule. Listen, we never want obligation interviews. You know what I mean?
100%. Then they're not casual, fun, laid-back conversations.
Exactly, like the one we had with the warning that some people thought was the best interview ever.
We were all best friends.
I love how the night before the interview, you're like, because I was thinking, you know, we have them in so early, I'll go get a thing of coffee.
Yeah.
Because we don't often have people in the studio very
I
early, and
also
aside
had that
from
thought.
water, we don't have amenities. And then I was like, well, I don't know if they drink coffee. Like, one of them's still 17. And then you were like, yeah, I'm thinking about making waffles. All right, like it's Shrek.
I think things have changed a lot in the coffee drinking world.
No, I agree,
My
but
kids both. Like, I did not start drinking coffee until I was probably after 40.
does your youngest drink coffee?
The youngest doesn't, but the
Okay.
18 and 20
yeah,
both.
yeah. I mean, I feel
Well,
like
it's
you
a
hit a certain
17.
age. Oh, what's that?
Well, she's 17. That's close enough.
It
I
is
bet.
close enough, but I didn't
And
know.
Mexican coffee, I think, is there's a Mexican blend that is amazing, right?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not like too familiar
You're not?
with
Okay.
regions of coffee. But anyways, you thought of making waffles.
Yeah.
And you made them. You prepared the batter the night before?
The morning of.
Oh, morning of. You put a little Mexican vanilla in there, authentic,
And love.
and love, and no goat.
Definitely
It
no
was just a joke.
No goat, no lamb. There was no meat in the waffles.
No, but it'd be pretty good. Yeah, I didn't. Did you expect them to walk in and the very first words out of their mouths be, "Oh, it smells like waffles"?
No, that was a very welcome byproduct. I did not think of the aroma that waffles put off, which is pretty warm and inviting.
Yeah, absolutely. Very distinct.
And very distinct.
Yeah.
So no, I did not expect. Again, you don't know. Do they just want to get in here and get the hell out of here? Is
Yeah.
it gonna whatever?
It did kind of seem like that at first, and then it just evened out, I thought.
I think the waffles help.
I think the waffles did help. And then,
Waffles can cure the world.
yeah, did we ever say it was maple syrup?
I don't believe we did. And you and I had a conversation the night before, and I believe because I think I texted you. I'm like,
You said you had pearl milling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you probably get maybe a little bit more authentic, and there just wasn't the opportunity.
I mean, that's fine. You don't need to buy a $20 mini bottle of real maple syrup. The table syrup, I think, works just
It
fine.
works pretty good.
Especially when they
It
knew
works pretty
exactly what the food was the second they walked into
Yes.
Communal Creative Studios. I
Yes.
thought that was very, very funny.
I should have tried smoking the waffles.
I
No?
mean, you don't have to smoke everything.
You don't know? I thought everything went through the smoker.
Smoked pancakes, smoked waffles.
When I have my bowl of cereal in the morning, I just throw it in there for a couple of seconds. No.
What kind of cereal? You eat cereal every day?
I'm a cereal every day.
What?
How is this surprising?
I didn't know that. I feel like that's a huge definition of a man.
And judging by this fit physique, you would definitely think Frosted Flakes or Corn Pops or
And
Special K.
Special K,
Love
just
Special
plain
K.
old
Fruit-
Special
fruit
K.
and yogurt Special K is the go-to.
So you're tossing fresh fruit in?
No. It's got the
No
little,
milk,
it's got
just
the,
yogurt.
No, it's got no milk.
You are using milk.
Yeah, there's the little yogurt clumps in it.
What the hell are you talking? Oh, it's the cereal is actually
The
packaged
cereal
like
is
that.
fruit
Okay.
and yogurt. Yes.
I
yes.
will
dried
say-
fruit and dried yogurt.
I do love whatever the hell they do to those little strawberries in like those Special K type
Like
cereals.
the freeze dried. The
Yeah.
red berries is probably my second
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah, a nice.
So judge me. What does that say about me if I'm a Kellogg's or whatever it is, Special K, fruit and yogurt?
And that's the only cereal.
What would you have
get.
thought I ate for breakfast? 6 strips of bacon, 6 sausages.
I actually didn't even know if
4
you ate
eggs.
breakfast. I don't really eat breakfast very
I
often.
never did for a long, long time.
Yeah. And then you're like, you know what? I'll add another meal to the
Time
day.
to put something at the start of the day instead of finishing with so much.
Because you don't drink coffee? No, you do.
No, I do now. Yeah.
Do you make it at home?
No.
Okay. Straight up drive-through.
Straight up
Right.
drive-through.
No, that's
Why
cool.
they do a good job of it. Why do I need to add that to my morning routine?
I was in the drive-through the other day at Starbucks, and every once in a while I like to treat myself. So I got this, I don't know, caramel brulee bullshit thing that they're selling for the holidays. You know, that they do pumpkin spice, and then they got some sugar cookie nonsense. And then I got this thing, and I've had it before. I know it's quite delicious. It's a nice treat. Fucking $7 for a medium.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I
do
might
it.
be done that.
Can't do it.
Might be done that.
What's with the sugar cookie thing? Is what hasn't been done to death already? Because I've noticed sugar cookie everywhere now. There's a sugar cookie cereal.
That makes sense. I think sugar cookie was unacknowledged, underappreciated for many years. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe that goes back to grandma's baking.
So
Right.
what leads to its meteoric rise now? Is it somebody that just
People are just like, God damn, sugar cookies are actually pretty good. Let's put down the Oreos.
interesting? All right.
Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. Special K cereal.
So no breakfast for you?
Very rarely. On weekends sometimes. But maybe I'll get a breakfast sandwich once every couple weeks.
Okay, breakfast sandwich I'll work in usually on weekends. Weekends will go a little different with a more traditional breakfast spread.
Well, we do try. It hasn't happened in a few weeks, but we did have a tradition of on Sunday race days, waking up, going to get a couple breakfast sandwiches, and then watching the race. That was a good little tradition.
What time do those start again?
Depends.
But it can be
this
like-
weekend. It was 6
Okay. World
because
Cup?
it was in Abu Dhabi.
You get into the World Cup at all?
No,
Okay.
no. I have in the past when I was a kid and played soccer or played soccer video games. I liked watching World Cup. I think that there might be a couple reasons not to watch the World Cup this year.
There are a couple for sure.
I think it's like human rights violations,
That could-
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be it. Which is it is important to note that I don't know if there's a sport right now untouched by dirty money,
Yeah.
because like F1 is major. Like F1's racing in pretty horrid places all the time. You've got the World Cup there. I don't know.
Hockey Canada has its issues.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, total side note as we hopefully wait for our guest. You have one kid that has done hockey throughout their childhood, teen years, right?
But not minor.
Okay,
Separate entity.
So those fees you pay every year were not going to Hockey Canada.
No, I can thankfully say that.
What
Yes.
level of hockey is that parents and families were putting money into Hockey Canada?
Well, I'm assuming that would have been minor.
Just
right?
above, so above house league, basically, is what you're saying? Okay,
So house league
okay.
is basically what we're in.
Right. So like the base level of competitive hockey for teens is not affiliated with Hockey
To the best
Canada.
of my knowledge.
Right.
So, and I know like with our house league, I think there is an affiliation with Hockey Alberta, which would probably have a tie-in.
Yeah, they might have. Yeah.
But to the best of my knowledge, and that's the thing, there's not enough money to go anywhere else. It's a very affordable way to put a kid through hockey.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, there's other reasons too. Competitiveness is not always good for people,
yeah.
right? On that kind of level.
Yeah. You know, it's that's a completely interesting, different take on things, and I've been hearing it a lot lately. But I watched Say Hey Willie Mays story. So Willie Mays was a
Baseball.
big, like one of the biggest and sometimes called the best baseball player of all time. And there's a whole story that goes along with that. But at the very end, they're interviewing him, and the guy behind the camera is like, "Hey Willie, are you the best baseball player that ever lived?" Mm-hmm. And his answer right away was no. And he does it like that. You have to be competitive. But he's not the type of person that has to be number one. I don't have to be the best at everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And that mentality, and I'd heard another interview where, this kind of goes way off tangent, but talks about the United States and how the United States was based on, started on violence and started on that we're going to be the best. We're going to be number one. We rule all.
Yeah.
And is that really necessarily the best?
I think we're finding out it's not. No.
I think so too. So, anyways, I gained a huge appreciation for Willie Mays. He is probably
Is he
the
still
greatest.
alive?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and a great interview, great stories, and a great humanitarian. Obviously, he lived through the civil rights movement, and there's a big chunk of the story in there when they moved the team from New York to San Francisco, and he wanted to buy a house in a particular neighborhood in San Francisco. This is, arguably one of the biggest sports stars in the nation.
Yeah, totally.
Could not buy the house that he wanted because they didn't want blacks in that neighborhood in 19.
And he's at the height of his fame.
At the height of his fame.
That's wild.
So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Definitely more than a baseball story. It's a good watch.
I didn't realize San Francisco was so segregated like that.
Well,
up
and you
until
would think,
the 50s.
and San Francisco for the most part has the reputation of not being.
Yep, fairly progressive center, I thought.
As progressive as it was, it still existed.
I mean, I guess San Francisco's also been pricing people out of their city for the last couple decades.
It's
so.
definitely.
Now that I think about it,
that's another whole can of worms to get into. It's the state of that city right now.
I about a month and a half ago made the switch to Tidal finally.
I was thinking as I was driving here, because I am still using Spotify, and thinking, what would it take for me to change? That's the one thing I don't know is what all these services offer that's different, or is it just the behind the scenes stuff that Tidal treats the artists a little better?
The payout is bigger.
Yeah.
Much bigger. Spotify is one of the worst, I think.
And but as far as function and usability?
I have zero complaints about this app.
Because you were using YouTube Music before.
Yes, which I've said it before. I was using YouTube Music because before, a couple years ago, it used to be called Google Play Music. Google has a long, storied history of making 10 apps that do the same thing and then deleting 9 of them.
Yeah.
After a couple of years. That's just for some stupid reason what they do. But Google Play Music used to be, at least a few years ago, the streaming service that paid out the most. That wasn't Apple. I think Apple's generally been pretty good with that stuff. Good.
I was just going to say, and what is the difference? Because we know Spotify's 0.003.
I mean, we can definitely search it up. Streaming service, artist payout. But the important point there about YouTube Music and Google Play Music before that is that it started off as a, hey, with your phone plan, you get whatever, 3 or 6 months free.
Right.
So got that and started using it and was fine with it. So I think that that shows that a reason why a lot of people are with the streaming service they're with is convenience. You probably had pretty early free access to it just in your position. It was a work necessity, right?
Yeah.
And it was also the big player in town at the time.
And it might have been one of the first to have the family share platform as well.
That would what do you mean by that?
Like so you could get a family plan for it, so you could have 6 accounts. I think they were one of the first to get on board with that. And with having
that would make sense. I mean, I had that on Google Play Music, and I've got that on Tidal now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the audio quality would be compared to between Spotify and Tidal, because Tidal kind of prides itself in that. But I'm trying to find this goddamn chart. This website's not helping me. Anyways, I think the way it goes right now is Apple, Spotify, or Apple, Tidal, and then I don't know. There's a few others in there that just lead all the way to the bottom, and it is the difference between 0.00 something, right?
Yes. None of it's good. None of it's where it should be.
None of it's good. But anyways, so I made the move to Tidal because I'm pretty strict against Spotify, even though I've never really tried it. I understand that I don't have an informed opinion on it. But the user experience is really, really good. The recommendations, my brother defined it as scary good or scary accurate, and very diverse, and not just the mainstream chart appearing recommendations. I haven't had an issue not being able to find a song yet.
Okay, that was going to be the next question. Is there anything that you haven't?
There is one, actually. The OJ. No, there's one that. Did you ever listen to the OJs?
Well, I know of the OJs.
Okay,
I don't know that I would listen.
The OJs had this song called Shotgun Safari, which I forget why I had heard it a few years ago. Some Vince Vaughn movie, I think. But I had that song on YouTube Music. I have that song on Tidal. I can't get that song on an Instagram story, which means it's Spotify, right?
Is that what Instagram stories
Isn't
use?
that where Instagram stories bring music from? Anyways,
Hmm.
So no, I have not had a problem finding music. It just seems like a really solid app.
Okay, I'll have to investigate. The one.
What we could do is I could throw you on the 5th slot, and you can give it a spin.
I can be your what like brother. uncle. What am I going to be?
Step uncle.
Step uncle. The one thing that really frightens me about the music services is we've seen with the TV and movie services go that I'm really afraid of. And hopefully this doesn't give anybody any ideas. But, you know, when the streaming platforms first started coming out for movies and TV shows, it was one. You basically had Netflix and you had everything that you wanted there.
Yeah.
And now all the companies decided, oh, well, we'll just have our own streaming service. So now you've got 8 different streaming services to spread between all the stuff. Well, what happens if the labels start doing that? So now if you want this artist, you got to be on that platform. If you want that artist, you got to be on that platform.
Well, that's an interesting point, but I do think that the labels have an obligation to their artists, to their clients, to make sure that their music is accessible
everywhere.
Across the board.
Yeah.
So I do think, I don't know if that's going to be a problem, but with you bringing up streaming, I mean, fucking Disney's got such a monopoly already on things, and I mean, imagine if they bought up just Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, that's just even more Disney. I don't know what the hell we were thinking, but I think it was late night. I think it was last weekend. I think it was after that Sawback thing, a few hours after. And I'd smoked a joint. I was feeling pretty good. Oh, we got Disney Plus open, and there was some, like, baking show. And I like cooking shows. And I was high. So let's take a look at what Disney. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, so Disney has their platform, and they're just like, okay, we don't have anything in the food competition sector, so let's make a baking show. The set is unbelievable. The production design is incredible. Like, they're building scenes from Ant-Man or some shit that are like the size of this floor here. Like, it's a huge production. It's pretty impressive. But the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes of this show are straight up CGI superhero nonsense, dancing around, fighting and stuff.
Yeah. I'm
like, can I just watch a baking show?
No.
It's got to be bookended by, like, hey, kid, just so the kids watch it, let's check out Ant-Man running around.
Gotta direct you to the moneymakers.
Good God.
I do feel bad. I did watch the Elton John
what was the deal with that?
last night from LA.
So why was he live streaming it?
It's his last North American show.
Before the next one in 2 years?
Yeah.
So this is actually the end of the 3 or 4 year North American?
The end of the North American run of it. There's still another run in the UK. Obviously, I'm sure he's going to end it in London, I would assume.
But those North American shows were, like, spread out across, like, 3 or 4 visits here, right?
Well, there was a pandemic that got in the way
that's true. I
some
forgot
of
about that.
But yeah, I do believe it started in 2019. But it should, yes, it probably would have been over by this point if the pandemic hadn't happened.
My mom went to the Toronto show.
And what did she think?
Oh, she thought it was great.
Yeah. Like, the spectacle is amazing, and Dodger Stadium obviously has a huge ton of history for Elton, and I kind of wondered, was he going to wear a glitter Dodgers outfit again?
Right.
And he did. It was a robe, but yeah, Brandy Carlisle came out.
Bit bigger this time.
A little bigger, for sure. Yeah, he doesn't get around on the stage too well. He'd always leave the piano
swinging
and go
baseball
walk
bats.
I'm like, just sit at the piano, Elton. You're 76. It's good. You can just sit. But Brandy Carlisle came out and did "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," which was pretty awesome. Kiki D was there for the last one, so she came out.
Sorry, who?
Kiki D.
Who's that?
Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
Oh, okay.
It's a duet there, which they haven't done together in decades. So they a few special things that happened for sure. But the one thing that I said to my wife is it's not. He's 76. He's going to sound how he's going to sound.
Yep.
He just doesn't. He's down an octave. He still sounds good, but it's just down an octave from what you're used to. So it's not quite the same.
Which just the level of the skill of his piano playing too, singing at the same time. Like, I can't really comprehend it. I'm not a huge Elton guy by any means, but I mean, obviously an unbelievable talent.
Yeah. And the piano playing is still, that's what I get the biggest kick out of watching Elton as well. Like, every time they've got
it's incredible.
There is a camera right on his fingers, and just to watch
it's incredible.
What he's doing is absolutely amazing.
Wow. So did you feel like it was a goodbye? Are you invested in Elton?
No. Like Elton.
Yep.
But whatever, if he goes and does another whatever, finishes up in the UK and comes back in 2 years and says, "Hey, I'm back," whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You're not flying to LA or driving to LA this time to do it?
No. I've learned my lessons on those final shows.
I mean, I'm glad that he did get to finish his North American stretch, right? Like, I think that. And
again, at the same point, he was going through some of the stats as to how many times he first played the Troubadour in L.A. in 1970.
Which I think is detailed in that movie.
Which is pretty detailed in the movie. And I think he said he played the LA area at least 100. I think he like over 100 times, like 103 times or whatever.
Crazy.
And
You'd almost think it would be more.
2 nights at Dodger Stadium
Yeah.
in 75, 3 nights at Dodger Stadium to finish it off.
That's wild. Very cool. How long was it? 3 hours?
Pretty close.
And you watched the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing, yeah. I wasn't planning on it, but it was whatever. Doing some other things in the background, but
yeah, my mom.
I honestly, they had talked a lot about special guest stars coming out, so I was kind of curious as to who that might be, and especially at an LA show. And they showed like Neil Patrick Harris was in the crowd, and I believe Gaga was in the crowd. But Brandy Carlisle, I think, was the only guest appearance.
Current star that was, yeah.
Oh, Dua Lipa.
What? Oh, do they have a song together?
They have a song
oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, my mom went and saw him, had a great time. She'd seen him back in the, assuming 70s. And I think at that time she's in a theater, and she actually had a seat like right above him.
Oh, so you could just watch.
And I think she had a full view of his hands, which would have been amazing. But yeah, it shows like that. Like I went and saw Stevie Wonder 7 or 8 years ago, and the tickets were given to me very last minute, like the day of. It was a Stampede show. Drove down to Calgary, and I know a few Stevie Wonder songs. And then you go see him live, and you're like, oh, yeah, I know that one, too. I know that one, too. I know that. Oh, I had no idea that he was involved in that song at all. And again, like, I feel like as the years go on, we're seeing less and less of those extremely talented piano players.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to see that, it is kind of a treat. And I hope people can appreciate that. It's not a lost art form at all, but it's just not that relevant in modern music and touring, I find.
I love that you can say you saw Stevie. I'd love to say I saw Stevie.
You could have. I got the tickets from the radio station, didn't I?
Was it really?
The other radio station is the other
I was
one.
gonna say I must not have been paying attention. So the person that I hit the YouTube on at this party I was at on the weekend, her husband, we just were talking about oddball shows that we'd seen and different artists and everything. Yeah. And so he had seen James Brown.
Whoa!
Right towards the end, played, and this is unbelievable. Played McEwen Hall. In Calgary, the upper ballroom.
Okay. Which is where I've seen Dan Mangan in there before, and Guar.
Guar in the upper ballroom? Get it? I can't believe the place is still standing.
The actual ballroom.
The actual ballroom.
Yes, yeah. My dad used to play in that room too, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That used to be a pretty pumping room back in the day, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw Moist there back in like their heyday, so 96-ish.
Mm-hmm. But remind me, there's not really... Like the stage in there isn't high or anything.
No,
like
and it's
extremely low.
I was trying to think of what the cap would be in that room, but it's small, obviously smaller than the big room downstairs.
Yeah,
but yeah, James Brown.
That's wild. I think did James Brown not have a period of time where he was playing smaller shows, like at the tail end of his.
And that's where this was the tail end. Yeah. So
fuck. Have you seen that video of him on CNN? Back in the early '90s, late '80s.
No.
And he's like, I think he had just been, I don't know if he'd been arrested or there was some incident where he'd like thrown a brick through his wife's car. She was trying to escape him or something. And this interview, Jordan Peele actually parodied it a few years ago and mimicked just the entire thing. But I don't know if he's high or drunk, but like the reporter's trying to ask him questions and he's just singing songs. Oh, it's a man's world. It's pretty good. We'll have to check that out. It's a good time. I would have loved to see James Brown.
Again, an icon that you would have.
Also, a name that I'm glad you brought him up because I don't think he gets that much attention anymore at all.
No.
And he was a big deal, and he fucked up his knees.
I'm probably more familiar with the Eddie Murphy impersonation of than actual James Brown himself.
When did he do that on SNL?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that.
Come on,
I've seen that.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if I've seen that. Did you ever watch Dolomite Is My Name?
I did watch Dolomite Is My Name.
And did you like it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually watched it with, that was one of the last things I watched with my dad while he was still
No way, right.
Because he's, he was into that, and he was an Eddie Murphy fan as well. So, yeah. So I think for that reason, I might have a little bit more appreciation.
Yeah, that's fair. I got to rewatch it. I don't know why, but I did watch Showtime the other day.
And
Showtime Robert De Niro.
The one with De Niro?
Murphy.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that in forever.
It was as far, like, it's funny because those movies I feel are pretty rare now. I think they kind of died with the Kevin Hart Chris
the
or the
buddy
Dwayne
cop
the Rock
kinda...
Johnson era, like
I
where
mean, he's killed a whole bunch of different.
yeah, and I like what was the last? Not it doesn't have to be a cop movie, but that like
What was the one
two
with
lead actors having
Wahlberg
fun.
and was it Wahlberg and Will Ferrell? Was it the other guys?
Yeah, but that was like
That's
like
probably
12
20
years
okay,
ago.
15 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think Lethal Weapon 80 is coming out soon.
That is
so-
true. Which yeah, it's weird because like maybe we shouldn't open the Gibson can today.
It's been enough cans opened.
Yes, there's been enough cans open. Although again, given the current climate out there, I'm surprised people aren't talking about Mel Gibson more. I guess. All right. Well, I don't think we have a guest today.
Okay, well, I think we handled that well.
I messaged him and said, "Hey, are you still around?" I mean, it's possible.
Thank him very much.
I believe he's in BC.
Maybe he thought noon.
Maybe he did think noon. What are you gonna do? It's only happened a couple times. Not that bad.
You need to communicate more clearly.
Apparently.
Although I did the same thing last night. I thought the Elton John show started at 8.
What
So
time
I
did
was
it
ready
start
to go
at?
at 8. Well, it was 8, but 8 Pacific.
Oh, so you were up till like midnight watching that thing. Like that was a late show.
I'm not 80. I don't have to go to bed at...
Come on, man. Last
7:30.
weekend you didn't get home till 2:30, 3. This weekend, Sunday night, you're staying up watching Elton.
I'm just getting going, baby.
The night is young.
The night is young.
All right. Well, so you did mention earlier that we emceed the 4th birthday party anniversary of Sawback last weekend.
Which was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was
Lots
very
of
cool.
great local musicians that filled the joint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some great food from Bo's Bar and Stage.
Yep.
Served up
Serving up those brisket Sammys.
excellently.
It was really good.
I took a few of those home, by the way.
How many? Do you stick them in those gloves? Those plastic serving gloves?
Yeah, that's exactly
Those
what
piles of meat?
I went digging around. I found some baggies.
Did you get some beer too?
May have gotten some beer.
Yep. Yeah.
You got some beer as well?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's amazing. That beer is still in my fridge. And when I put it in my fridge, I realized that there's still beer from a show we went to like 2 months ago in my fridge.
I'm guessing.
That's a good thing, right?
Might want to get on it.
Well, but I think it means I'm not an alcoholic.
It means you're not an alcoholic for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, you're also leaving some pretty tasty treats just sitting there.
Well, but they will be enjoyed because this Friday, God damn it, the Dusty Tucker show.
Yes.
I think I might have a few beers that night.
Pre-game?
We're
We're going to pre-game?
Yeah, I'll have a couple drinks at the house before I stroll over
What
to
did
the
you
bat.
get? Hazy Blondes? What did you...
Oh shit! Like 4 or 5 different kinds.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But typically you don't like
No.
the stouts, the porters.
No, and
Okay.
he asked me like, what do you like? I was like, well, I know I like this one of yours. I know I like this one of yours. And then he's like, okay, well, based on that, I'll put together a couple packs for you,
Okay.
which I have not tested yet. So
Okay. We'll talk maybe on Friday if you're still coherent enough to...
yeah.
Spit it
Also,
out.
our amazing friends at Bose who are resting up after setting up for Winterlust. The entire bar has been holiday-fied.
I don't think they get to rest. I think the launch is tonight.
Right with that classic show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ryley said that was like, what, a 9-piece?
Yeah, and then the Bluestones tomorrow night, and then I think there's some sort of activation, if you will, pretty much every night, right? Like I don't think there's many nights where there isn't something going on.
All right. Well, in that case, it's a surprise, just the two of us, which we had planned on doing yesterday, and it's because it's coming up to the end of the year, and we do have a number of good interviews lined up in the next few weeks. We're thinking about what we liked about 2020.
I think there will be some best ofs coming up for us as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a look at that. Do you have like now that we're gonna do it now, but if you had to pick your top 5 records of the year, you've got them
This year, more so than any other of the past few,
definitive.
I have more albums, like full, complete albums that I've loved and like have stuck with me through the whole year than any of the last couple of years. Like there's definitely easily 5 albums that I could say right now that will be with me for a long, long time.
I don't think that's just because of the music.
No?
No, I don't. I think maybe you reached a different level or an amplified level of music discovery. Does that make sense?
Is that possible?
I'm not saying that.
Totally could be.
That's interesting.
And honestly, to be fair, there's a couple that'll be on that list that are, from doing this
Whoa,
that I
yeah,
probably would
fucking
not
hope
have
so.
experienced before.
Yeah, I hope so. No, I feel the same way actually about a number of records. So
Yeah, but you're right. And I kind of, yes, I think my taste drifted in a slightly different direction, which might have played a role, maybe.
Interesting.
And we'll see, because this is, it's a diverse list of albums that I have.
it's just funny to me. It's interesting to me that in your 40th, 42nd year, 43rd, 44th.
Late. This late stage in the game,
I just don't.
old dogs learn new tricks.
I don't think that this late in your career that it can be all on just the album itself. I think that's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, and I think if you recall about with my dad as well, my dad was constantly discovering new music right up until until the very end.
What was the we're talking about a band recently that you said your dad was really into that I was quite interested by. I forget.
Like Drive-By Truckers?
No, it was something a little. No, it was different than that.
Okay.
I don't remember. But anyways, okay. So we'll go through some of our. I don't know if we do 5 or 10. Probably just 5.
5's easy for me.
That makes sense.
Top 5 albums of the year, easy.
Friend of the show, Steve, my buddy Steve from out east.
Yep.
Desperately hoping that he gets his new passport in the mail today,
Okay.
so he can go to Detroit tomorrow.
What's in Detroit?
Charlie Crockett.
Oh, get out of that.
But if he doesn't get his passport, then he's not seeing Crockett.
So we're going to Montana for the White Buffalo.
When is that again? Next week?
2 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks, 3 weeks. But Crockett's in Seattle 4 days before the Buffalo show in Montana.
That's pretty much a straight drive east,
Really,
right? From
it's
Seattle?
We'll see. Not all decisions are final.
Again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Communal Creative Studios, and a huge welcome to any new viewers or listeners that we might have, especially after that warning episode.
And thank you to Go Services Inc.
Yeah.
as well for the support. Sawback, Bo's Bar and Stage.
And Ryan and Ryley. Bingo.
Maybe we'll be back with a guest next
Wednesday.
The Road the Stage is produced by Ryan Kuly and Ryley Surian at the Communal Creative Studios in Red Deer, Alberta. In partnership with Go Services Inc., Sawback Brewing Co., Tourism Red Deer, and Bo's Bar and Stage.